Welcome to Product Success Management Issues, the podcast and video series that explores in depth with experienced product managers and product marketing managers the key issues that affect product success. Sponsored by Wiley and my company, Spice Catalyst, I am Dave Fradin, your host and the author of Foundations in the Successful Management of Products series of books and courses published by Wiley. Be sure to connect with me on LinkedIn. Be sure to connect with my guest also. Welcome, Márcio, to Product Success Management Issues. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and experience.
Okay. Well, my background is on computer science. So I've been some years ago been a developer, but in my experience, I've been also did some project management. Then I shift to a different kind of role. I was doing sales engineering, and that was a very nice experience. Founding new territories, traveling across the world, talking with a lot of customers. I think I learned a bunch about how to understand people and build solutions for them. That was a big background and a good experience. And in the last few years, I moved to product. So that's where I'm having a lot of fun and improving a product and making sure that I make customers happy.
So you moved from engineering to project management, sales, and support, and then product management.
Yes.
What are the similarities and differences that you found in each of those four professional tracks?
Yeah. Well, there's many differences. One thing in common is the willingness to help the customer. So it's different tools that you get, let's say, to really understand the needs of the customer and how you can serve them. So as a developer, you build. So you build stuff for end users. As a salesperson, you need to design the solution. You usually don't see it coming to life, but you make kind of the vision. As a product, it's kind of a continuous work on that. So common part is really being able to help customers. The difference is really the time frames. In sales, things come like the results of what you're doing come in a very short time. So either things fly or don't fly in a compressed time, while in product, at least in this B2B world where I work, it takes more time. So from the moment you take a decision to actually get things done and then to the hands of to the end user, it takes more time. So your gratification just takes more time in the different roles.
Gotcha. And then what is your current function and title?
Okay. Currently, I'm a vice president of product management at OutSystems.
Yeah. Do you have product managers that report to you?
Yeah, a great team of 12 product managers, and then we have also a product ownership group. So it's a big organization already.
And what's the difference between product owners and product managers in your company?
Okay, in our case, there's a split more on who is responsible for the vision, the directions, and making sure that we have a good understanding of from the customer, from the market, to what should be the direction of the product. And then the product owners will take those directions and make into more the execution with the teams that will build the new features and the new products to fulfill the needs. So ones are more related to the market, others to the execution.
I assume you're doing agile development?
Yes, of course.
That's why you have the product owners.
Yeah, all the Scrum and...
So you have 12 product managers. Do they also do the product marketing function?
There's a separate function for product marketing, even though I think there's a huge overlap these days. And again, the boundaries are never 100% well defined, but everything that is like research of the market, understand the needs of the customers, that's done by the product management. Product marketing helps on the picking the message or whatever new things we develop and make that into all the content that needs to go to the website, to the field, to the customers.
The product marketing managers, do they report to you, or do they report in marketing, or are they in engineering?
No, they report to marketing. So
yeah, that's a little different organizational structure than I've discovered so far. I teach product management and product marketing at Cisco around the world. And the interesting thing there is that their technical marketing engineers, is what they call their product marketing engineers, they are in engineering. And then they hand off to the marketing department.
I think I'll pick on that. And
well, I advocate you try to get the product marketing people reporting to you. So that way they're more closer to the product managers, and the handoffs will be probably.
I wouldn't say reporting, but at least I think it's important to work very closely. Yeah. I think loops of communication always delay, and I really believe that speed is key. You need to be always innovating and trying to experiment and deliver value. So the closer teams get together, the more efficient they become. So that's the reason I like your vision of putting all together.
Yeah, one of the things I also advocate is, and there's a memo that our listeners can get off of my website at spicecatalyst.com, and it goes something like this, and it says it's a memo to your boss. It says, "Hi, boss. I don't know about you, but frequently I go to a cocktail party and I'm talking to a beautiful woman, and she asks me what I do. And so I start saying, well, I go out and I listen to the customer and I try to figure out what their needs are. Then I do market research and I do competitive research. And then I put together the product positioning and write personas so the engineering teams know how to develop it. And then I put together the distribution and market strategy, and I put together the pricing strategy. And I said, usually before I only get about a sentence into that, she'll turn and walk away. But if you could let me change my title to product success manager, then people will know what I do. And then, then I have a PS in the memo. If you let me change my title, you could be the product success officer, chief product success officer. And if I get married, I'll be sure to invite you to the wedding.
Okay.
So I've convinced the magazine that's published out of India to, instead of calling it Product Management Magazine, they call it Product Success Magazine. And that's why this show is Product Success Issues. Okay.
Makes sense. There's a lot of areas that nowadays are moving to being called success. Even in my company, we changed a little bit what was professional services and changed the mindset to make sure that it's all about success. In this case, of our customers.
Yeah, they're called customer success officers now.
Yep.
Which was support. What outside factors do you think will change the function of product management over time?
Okay, that's a big question. What I'm feeling today is that there's still some, at least in EMEA, still a kind of a job that is maturing. So recently I was in a big event with over 1,000 product managers, and there was a lot of general feeling that we've conquered our space in companies, we're having our impact, we are driving our products. There's even more companies wanting to become a product company, so they need this kind of role. But it's still a notion that it's still an area that needs more maturity. There's still not enough good materials, and I know, David, that you're helping on that, but I believe it's still an area that is maturing, conquering its space. There's a lot of challenges most of at least the people in my network have about impact, about being able to influence the organization without having the power. It's just the capability of influencing. So I think the area will mature. On the other hand, depending on if you're in a B2B or B2C, there's tons of tools and practices that as they mature will make our lives easier. So all those things will be positive. I think it's maturity. On the other hand, I think cycles are becoming faster and faster. So the time to react to market, the world is just becoming faster. So I believe there will be always the challenge of making the right decisions, but executing also very fast, so they can always be ahead of the competition. So at least those are I'm feeling, and I think they will. These trends will prevail for a couple more years.
Yeah, there's a lot of product managers whine about the fact that they don't have the authority, but they're held responsible for their product success. And a lot of folks don't know that product management evolved at Hewlett Packard in 1938. And it came from Procter & Gamble that invented the field of brand management in 1932. And brand managers at Procter & Gamble had budgetary authority. They had authority over the marketing spend, over the advertising budget, over the market research budgets, and so forth, and they could allocate that appropriately. So one of the things I advocate is that the product management has authority over those budgets in order to help control the success of the product. Is that the case in your company, or does someone else have the advertising, PR, and market research budgets?
In this case, it's separate. So marketing has those budgets, but I think there's a very close connection, and the ability to influence. It's effective, deciding what segments we need to go for and what kind of audience we should look for. That's product that gives the guidance. The budget is still in marketing, but again. Leading without the authority by influence, I think it's still healthy. I think just put the onus on a product to make sure that we bring the right ideas, the right arguments, backing up by the right research. So I don't see it as a bad thing. I think just make us more sharp.
Yeah, and train your persuasion skills. But I put together a template presentation called Ask for the Authority. And it's also up on my website where our listeners and viewers can get it. And it's a little series of slides. All you have to do is customize it for your situation and then take it to your boss and present it to ask for the authority over those areas that you need authority that he's holding you responsible for.
Okay. I know what I'll be doing after this session.
When you hire a product manager, what are you looking for in order to consider hiring them?
Okay, there's a couple of skills they usually look for. Some are more basic, like making sure they have the domain expertise on the area they will be managing. I think context helps. But there's I usually look for kind of a good evidence from his past work that he can really think strategically. He can call the shots. He's not afraid of taking good decisions. But at the same time, he's thinking strategically, I usually look for people that are also able to execute very tactically, like people that keep a long run vision, but they know that they need to keep delivering. They need to keep bringing new improvements every quarter, every week, every day if possible. So having this mindset of keep delivering, keep doing things, getting stuff done, that's something I look for. Then it's about, if you think about personality, energetic people, but at the same time able to hear, able to have empathy with the people around them, and having the curiosity to really learn. I think that's fundamental. Great ideas that don't get fueled by the right insights won't get us very far. And then there's we've been stressing a lot this internal, there is the kind of a feeling of accountability. So I expect people to be accountable and to hold others accountable. So it's kind of a consider it done kind of people. So I want to make sure that when I delegate, the person will really take care of that product and use his passion to take it as far as he can.
If someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to get into product management," what do you suggest they do?
Okay. Well, first, whenever that happened in the past, I tried to kind of look for three things. One was make sure that the person is passionate about what he wants for the product, or at least the problem he's trying to solve. I usually advise that if you are passionate about what you're solving, you'll be able to really prevail, because I think it's still a work that requires a lot of resilience. So I usually advise on, well, this can be the best job in the world as long as you love what you're solving and the people that you're solving it to. So if you have that passion, this is amazing. But you need to be resilient, and you really need to have some empathy for the people around you. But that's what's usually I try to check and advise on.
Passion for your product, empathy for the customer, and then what was the third thing?
Resilience.
Resilience.
Yeah, I believe
because they don't have the authority.
Yeah, sometimes things won't go your way. Sometimes you'll fail. Right? It's all about you fail and you need to keep trying. Well, some people might be lucky, right? Get everything right at first. But at least from my experience, you need to keep, pushing hard and don't let the lows get you. So to keep always pushing to really build that great product.
What about any specific competencies or skills?
Well, it would depend on the kind of product. For technical products, I usually try to have also people that understand that domain. But that's it. I think I usually look more for the kind of how sharp they are. They are in more of the soft skills to see if they will prevail on this fast motion of product management.
Gotcha. Can they be? Are all of your product managers in the same location, or are they? Do some of them work remotely?
Okay. Only recently we start making the team remotely. Some members remotely. It's working well. I still believe that you need to try to build a relation in the beginning between people that need to communicate a lot. So some face-to-face time will help establish the connection. But then, today it's so easy to work remotely. As long as, the rationale in my case for start having PMs remotely was, even though it's good to be close to the teams, it's also important to be close to the customers, into the markets you are working with. So it works. We just need to do an extra effort to keep the right routines and communication.
So that's the key thing, is to have established processes for communication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and today there's many tools, so it's easy. But I think it's making sure to have a good cadence of communication. Even when things get very busy, make sure that you always have the time to keep talking and keep some healthy flow of information. Sometimes it's good to also spend some time together before, just to establish some more personal connections, and then people can easily work remotely.
What are some examples of some of the tools?
Mm-hmm. Well, today it's Slack helps in a more asynchronous communication. So that means if you have Slack, so if you have different time zones, it means that somebody can drop a question and pick it up the next day. If you have a big conversation going on in one location, the other one will still pick it up and get a good notion of what's going on. So that helps. For communications like calls, well, actually you end up using either Slack, Skype, WebEx, Hangout. I think we have too many options. But Slack has been lately. Slack has been actually a very, very good way of communicating.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us on Product Success Issues.
My pleasure.
Take care now.
On behalf of my guest and myself, thanks for joining us on Product Success Management Issues. I am Dave Fradin. Be sure to connect with us on LinkedIn.